Welcome back to another episode of Marriage and Real Estate Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Kevin Shelton, with my lovely wife,
Aisha Shelton.
And we are the host of the Marriage and Real Estate Podcast. We are excited to have an amazing guest this week from the Real Estate Guru PK Podcast.
Thank you.
Mr. Mario Lloyd.
Thank you for having me.
What
I was saying earlier, y'all should be on our podcast. Y'all said y'all going to DC this week.
We are going to DC this week, but we will be back.
So y'all want to do next week?
Yeah, we can do next week.
Our office is like down the street, so
just tell me the date and time.
Yeah, we'll have to look. I'll look at my calendar. My October and September. September and October are kind of stupid, but
we typically record on Wednesdays. So if you can come,
so you want to do it before?
Like we can do it right before or right after. We typically record at this time at
Wednesday. So next Wednesday you gonna do like at 3?
Yeah, that cool. Should work. We'll check calendars after
this. Okay, because I was going to say, I'll check my calendar.
She's a busy one.
I am. So tell me, what is Real Estate PK Podcast about?
It's about, I try to get like cool entrepreneurs. It's mainly people in real estate because, you know, the name. Mm-hmm. So they kind of gravitate to me. And I try to get like entrepreneurs, not just from Houston, Texas, like from Atlanta, California, wherever. And they come on the podcast, and then we talk about their come up and how to make millions of dollars and like the ups and downs and like marriage. I always ask them, like, you know, the single men, I ask them why they not married yet. I ask them like if their kids didn't want to be an entrepreneur, just wanted to have a 9-to-5, would they be cool with it? Mm-hmm. And the majority, they are like, no, they don't want the kids to have a job. They want the kids to like work for them or to venture out and be an entrepreneur by themselves.
What's the PK part of the podcast stand for?
Panama kid. My dad is from Panama.
Oh, see, that was a good question.
I thought you said you're half Mexican.
I'm half Mexican and Panamanian.
Wait.
That makes a lot more sense.
Half Mexican, half Panamanian.
Yeah, my dad's Panamanian.
Is there some Afro Latino kind of stuff in there?
Black folks.
Yeah, my dad's like a black Latino. He speaks fluent Spanish.
Yes.
Panamanians. Every Panamanian I've ever met is like black folks.
Yeah. I guess I haven't met that many Panamanians
but
before.
People think he's black because he's like 6'6", 240.
Yeah.
He's not like, you know, small in stature, so they just think he's like a big black man.
6'6", 240, skinny.
No, he's big. He got skinny legs.
Okay. Because 6'6", 240, like.
So let me tell you about exposure and why you got to expose your kids. So where we are in life right now does not look like, you know, my childhood, right? Mm. And so we had a girl, I don't know where she was from. She was from a Latin country, but she was Afro-Latina. And so she kind of gravitated toward we in Texas. So in Texas, you either black, white, or Mexican. Whatever you look like, you black, white, or Mexican. Yeah. Whichever one you look like, that's where you fall. So we were young and like in middle school, and she obviously looked like us. Mm-hmm. And so she would gravitate towards the Latina girls, and we'd be like, girl, you black. You think, look at your hair. You just like us. I mean, it was so harsh. And when I thought about it as an adult and became more well-traveled and educated, I was like, damn, we was really kind of mean to her.
So she was like Cuban or Panamanian?
She was something Afro-Latino, but baby girl hair looked like ours. I mean, we just weren't traveled and we didn't know anything. So when you said you were Panamanian and Mexican, that's an interesting combination. How your parents, how'd that happen?
They met at Madison High School.
Okay.
So they just
not even like,
regular Houstonians.
Yeah, my mom, she's from like, her parents are from Matamoros, Mexico. Okay.
Oh, I know people from Matamoros.
Yeah, and then she lived the majority of life in California, then they migrated to Houston. Yep. And then my dad's from Panama. I think he came when he was like in middle school. Yeah. And then he went to high school, and then he met my mom, and they kicked it off, but both of their parents didn't like each other.
Really?
Yeah, so they're kind of like, they're like Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What about your wife?
Together to the day?
Yeah, they still get it to this day.
What's your wife's nationality?
She's black.
Like African American?
She's African American. She's like light skinned though. Her grandma's like German or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I can't wait to see them kids.
Wait, that kid. Like
he just looks just like me.
His son looks just
he don't really look mixed. He just looks light skinned.
Is he really mixed though?
Yeah, I guess he mixed up with a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
Somewhat. I mean, they just gonna put black on his own.
Yeah, like it just, I think after a time it just washes.
That's true. Over time. That's true. That's true. So you're in real estate.
Yes, ma'am.
And your wife is kind of in real estate.
She got a realtor license like a couple of years ago, and she helps me out a lot. When I first started, she would help me find the houses.
Yep.
She got like my first like 3 houses off the MLS. She's like, these are good deals. And I had like a lot of money. I got a lot of loans and credit cards at the same time, and I just started buying them.
So what did you do before real estate?
I was like in and out of jobs. My longest job was at the hospital at Methodist. It was like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
The most paying job I had was like Terminix and Walmart. Those were like the last 2 jobs I had.
Okay. But you weren't really like career driven or anything?
Nah, I was just going through the motions, just paying my car note.
So what made you want to get into real estate?
I met this guy, I'm not gonna say his name because we're not cool no more. And he was working on his house by my grandma's house in Horn Clark. And I was doing his bait jobs. I was servicing his bait jobs. And I was like talking to him because I was like, he souped up the house super, super nice. Like this is before like Horn Clark was Horn Clark.
Yeah.
This is like when Horn Clark, the ARVs were like 120, 110, probably 100. And he got like almost 200,000 for that house.
Oh man.
Yeah, he got like 160, 170. And then the guy across the street got like 200,000. Like they're the reason why
he changed the whole neighborhood.
Yeah, they're the reason why Horn Clark is where it's at right now.
Nice. Basically. So tell our audience about your real estate story, right? They know that the people that we bring on our podcast are typically married, sometimes not, but that they're also in real estate, obviously, Marriage and Real Estate Podcast. So what's your real estate story?
It was kind of there. He kind of was like, what's your credit score? Now, at the time it was 770. And his eyes lit up, and he was like, you know what you could do with that? You get a bunch of money, start buying houses, and do like a big refinance at the end, and get like $1 million. And then he told me this key thing. He was like, if you're not a millionaire in 5 years, you're like a loser. Like,
all right,
interesting. Okay.
So he kind of said like a match to my back, and so I got a house like a couple of months later, still working at Walmart. And then I met him again, and then I did it. I got like $300,000 out and started buying houses.
Nice.
Okay. So how long ago was that?
That was 2015, 2016.
All right. So you 6 years in?
Yeah, I'm 6 years in.
Are you a millionaire?
On paper, if I liquidated all my houses right now, I'll have $1 million in cash.
Yep.
Well, then he was fucking right.
And you did it. And that was what you needed.
There we go.
But what's really interesting about that is that everybody thinks you have to be something more than what you are in order to start or in order to be successful or catch that momentum. And I just think that's a phenomenal story that you're like, I worked at Terminix and Walmart and I didn't really have very many career ambitions, but then I started real estate and my portfolio is
correct.
But there's a couple of key things in that. You had good credit.
Correct.
That's
you
true.
leveraged your good credit.
Correct.
And your stable income to create financing that you otherwise wouldn't have.
If I'd had good credit, none of that would have been possible.
Yeah, so you had a hell of a good credit score.
Correct.
Even with the jobs that you had. So
but that's a good blueprint though, right?
Because a lot of people tie good credit to like high income. And you didn't necessarily have an high income.
I was just making like $30,000 before I started working at Walmart.
Exactly. So you just had great financial skills to have good credit.
I paid on time, never was late. If I was about to be late, I would go get a loan at a pawn shop, like for my TV or my PlayStation, and pay my credit card bill on time. Like that wasn't an option. Like I wasn't going to be late on none of my payments.
That's dope.
But how many people in our community feel like, I can't start just yet, or I got to do X, Y, and Z before I can do this real estate thing, and they either never get started or wait a very long time to get started? And I mean, you're an amazing example of like you can start with what you got, a good credit score.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, and leverage that.
Quote, start where you are, use what you got, do what you can.
That's
I tell people all you need is a house. They get the house first. Everything else is easy. You can get a hard money loan. You could like crowdfund the house. You could borrow the money. You could get a loan on your car. Whatever you need to do to fix up the property.
Yeah.
Did you own the house that you were living in at the time you did that?
No, I was living with my
with his
parents.
parents, remember?
Oh, but I thought the first couple of houses your wife helped you find.
Yeah, I was.
Find it on the MLS.
Yeah,
y'all weren't married
No,
yet.
we wasn't married yet.
Like
in 2016, I was still living at we didn't get married till 2017.
Okay, so y'all got married after you got the cash out.
She's like, I better marry this man. He rich, man.
I put about to be a millionaire on my back.
I put on the LLC in the beginning though. Like, so regardless, even if we broke up, she still was gonna be on the LLC. Like, I wanted to do that for helping me out.
Here's what I want to know. Wait. How How did you know that she was the
She
one
was the one.
that you could put on your LLC before you even made
Well,
it official?
when we first met, she started paying my phone bill like from the jump.
Aw.
So she was bringing like a lot of value to me. She would.
So she was paying your phone bill. What were you paying for her?
Don't worry about it. Don't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. I want to know.
I mean, our first date I paid for it, but I was broke though. I was like super broke.
But see,
I mean,
go ahead.
Ashley the classic. Go ahead.
She would drive from like Humble to like the Southwest side, pick me up, and then we'll go on our dates or whatever.
it was because you was
So
Latino.
I have a theory
Your
that
hair
I live.
curl.
I have a theory that I live by, and I tell this to a lot of young men, and they don't really. You don't get it when you're young, but a wife makes you better, right?
Uh-huh.
It makes you become the man that you have the potential to become, but otherwise wouldn't become left to your own devices. Because if you had it all figured out, you wouldn't get, you wouldn't need your wife to get to where you've gotten, but you needed her to get to where you've gotten to, and you became better.
I needed her to be focused. I wasn't focused until
Yeah.
I got married.
Yep.
Even when I was starting in real estate, I still was distracted a lot. I wasn't focused until I got married, and I was like, all right, it's game time.
It changes your
Yeah.
inspiration and changes your motivation.
I was like, I gotta build my legacy. I gotta, like everybody's looking at me like this. It's like I can't lose. You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of like put another battery on my back to like make everything happen no matter what.
So what do your parents think about you being in real estate?
I mean, they think it's great. I spoke to my sister about it the other day. We bought her a house.
Bought your sister a house?
Yeah, we got our hard money lender. We bought her house and
You bought her house, not bought her a house.
we bought her house.
Bought her house from her.
Our lender bought the house that she wanted. She moved in, and she's about to refinance, pay our lender off.
Got it.
Oh, all
Yeah.
right. All
Yeah,
right.
without us, she wouldn't have been able to because her credit score wasn't good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's dope. Yeah.
I mean, so
So
you
my
know,
parents love it because I'm trying to help out the whole family.
Creative
whatever.
and it's
financing.
easier to refinance than it is to buy new.
Yeah,
tell
it
people
is.
that all the time.
It
If
is.
you already own it.
They're real picky. Like they go through all your financials. They go, especially if FHA loan.
Yeah.
Like, they're really picky. They go through all your statements. They go through all your job history. They ask you why wasn't you getting income? You're like, oh, because I got laid off and then I got this. Like you got to explain everything.
Right.
Like that's
Yeah.
hard for people, and then
Mhm.
people don't want to do that. So, we were able to get her the house or whatever.
So how many houses are you up to now?
Me personally, we like with our personal house included, or just a rental property.
I mean,
With our personal house included, we have 9 properties, and then we have an Airbnb as well.
and the Airbnb's on top of that. Is that arbitrage or
That's
owned?
arbitrage.
How do you like an arbitrage business?
It's okay. People make it seem like it's.
Look, you better not let that internet get you.
I know, like
he already got.
I was listening to your interview on the Poor Horseman, and, and it's not that passive as people make it
It's
think.
not passive at
Like,
all.
They called us like 2-3 times, at 4 a.m. because they locked the top lock and we had to go let them in. So
Yep.
it's like if we were sleeping, my phone didn't ring, they would have been stuck out. They would have given us a
Outside the
bad
house.
review. You got to
Yeah.
get great reviews at all times.
Yeah. Yeah.
As soon as you don't, you're not on the top tier, and they're not going to like promote you.
And
at
we're not
all.
in the touristy market, so you don't have that many chances.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like if you get several bad reviews, you might be out the
It's
game.
over. Yeah, it's over. So
Yeah.
and then no matter what, your landlord was like, "Where my rent at? I don't care if you
Yeah,
make
you
money.
gotta pay
You're not
that.
supposed to do that anyway." So what you supposed to do?
Not you're not supposed to do it.
Exactly. So and then if they really want to be spicy, they could evict you at any time. If they
No,
don't,
true.
If they don't like how you running it, they
Yeah.
don't like. They feel like it's too many people in and out of the house.
And
They
here you are stuck with all this furniture and all
Exactly.
this stuff.
Yeah.
You
that
gotta
you
either
gotta,
sell it. You're gonna take a loss on that.
yeah, you're gonna take a loss. And trying to sell furniture is not for the weak at heart. I tell
No,
you.
it's
When we liquidated our Airbnb business,
We
like
sold the houses
one
with the
house
furniture.
we
It was
sold,
hard.
one house we sold with the
We sold
furniture.
both.
Yeah, that's true. We was like, if you buying this house, you gotta take
You
all
got to take
this.
the furniture with you.
about all
Because
this.
just moving it was
So
stress.
they didn't want it. Or they wanted it.
So we baked it into the sales price. We made through appraisal.
Okay.
We didn't take a loss on it, but we didn't make as much as we would have sold it
if we would
individually.
have sold it individually,
But it was too
who
much to
wanted to
do.
do all
Hassle.
of that?
Yeah.
And the house is already staged. The house is already like
It was beautiful
we literally
too.
like walked out of our Airbnbs. Like we had a late night call. We were at the movie. She was pregnant. In the toilet, we had a 3-1.
For real.
And we owned it. The good thing about our Airbnb units is we owned it. So The toilet supposedly went out. We're at the movies. It's midnight. I'm like, shit, I don't have my tools. I don't have nothing. I went to Walmart, bought tools to go fix this Airbnb. I left her at the movies. I was like, watch the movie. I'll go fix it. I'll come back. And I went, and literally somebody just didn't jiggle the handle.
You see.
And I went back and picked her up. She's like, sell those goddamn houses.
Yeah, I was over it.
She was over it.
It was like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
We were at the movie, and you literally had to drive to the Airbnb, which was about 20 minutes away from the
25
movie.
minutes,
So
yeah.
you were gone an hour.
And I stopped by Walmart.
Yeah.
So I had to stop by Walmart and buy two.
It was
tools.
too much. It was entirely too much.
My wife is on the same page. If it wasn't for me, we would have sold everything. Would have been liquidated everything.
Everything.
I think so, because like a lot.
She don't like tenants either.
She
Not
like.
regular
She never
tenants.
wanted to do tennis. She
Really?
wanted to flip. She just wanted to flip, and I was
But
just
y'all
like,
flipped some.
yeah, we flipped probably like 5-6 properties, and we wholesaled as well. We done a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So but she just wanted to flip and just stack the money up sky high,
Mhm.
and I felt like
But then your taxes and stuff.
correct.
Like, yeah, you get
Yeah,
all
that
that money in.
1031 exchange.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So I wanted to leave stuff to my son. Like I didn't want my son to be like me, where I just graduated from high school and I don't know what I'm about to do. Like he got everything he wants to do. Whether he wants to be an entrepreneur, he wants to be a landlord. I could give him a house or two.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever you want, he could go travel if he wants to.
And see, that's power. You know, we talked about it in the last episode, but we sat down with a couple who the wife's father owned 40 properties. So when they sat down with us and they're like, we want to find out how we can get into real estate. I was like, well, either they go ask your daddy for a house. And within 30 days, they had a house because she asked her daddy for a house and he sold them on good terms,
Yeah.
one of his vacant rentals. It's the easiest way to get in real estate if your parents in the real estate.
Exactly.
Well, and the beautiful thing was he sold it to him, right? It wasn't like a, here, baby, here's
Here
a
you go, you
house.
can
Like,
have it,
it's
yeah.
like, hey, come do what business people do and do business.
Mhm.
Like, and I, because I'm your parent, can give you a good deal, a deal that you may not get out in the world, but also it's still business. You still gonna go and do all of the necessary steps in order to conduct real estate. And I think that's amazing, your thoughts on, you know, what you want to pass down to your son or whatever. So I'm gonna flip the script on you. You ask your guests, you know, how would you feel if your son wanted to do something different?
Okay.
So how do you respond to that?
That's fine. That's fine. I wouldn't be tripping. Like if he wanted to, if he just felt like it was convenient for him to have a job at Walmart, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm not. I like whatever he feels like he wants to do. I'm pretty sure after his manager curses him out a couple of times, he's gonna come.
You were like, I
back.
don't gotta do it. I don't gotta put up with this.
Exactly.
Take this shit. Yeah.
I don't have to
Exactly.
take this. I'll tell you, and Kevin, I'm gonna ask you the same question. So we'll go like this because I don't know what your response is, but I want my kids to have the freedom to do stuff, but also know that there's an expectation that you come back and, run this business, right?
Correct.
So you can be, I want you to go to college. I want you to have a good time. I want you to travel the world, but I also want you to just groom yourself and get prepared because what we building is bigger than just me and your father. And there needs to be some kind of succession. And it may not be all of them, but see, that's the beauty of us having multiple kids. There is I can't predict the future.
See how she did that right there?
But there is at least one that I'm sure will step up to the plate and run these companies. She has the kind of personality that I think will. And, that's where knowing your kids comes in. But what about you? What is your expectation?
So this is my personal philosophy. They can do whatever they want to do as long as they run real estate too. So
what if they don't want to though?
You don't have a choice. Right? I'll give you an example.
Okay.
You pay your light bill, right?
Correct.
You don't have a choice.
Correct.
Same thing with running real estate. In this household, we serve the Lord and we run real estate.
But
and
I think it just comes natural, right? Like if you look at, for example, the Trumps, everybody has some kind of hand in real estate. Now they may be attorneys, they may do all these other kind of things, but what we know is that wealth is passed down through real estate, and you build wealth through this. And so I'm giving you a gift because not everybody has this gift.
Yeah.
I didn't have this gift. You didn't have this gift. So I feel like wealth begets wealth. And so because it's what we do, it'll be like nothing for you. It'll be
Yeah.
like, it's like you acquiring a rental. It's like nothing. You're like, oh yeah, I got
Because
another rental.
essentially it's just an investment, right?
Mhm.
Like managing rentals or knowing what a deal looks like, how to manage a property, how to liquidate and, acquire property, stuff like that. It's just skills. It's tools in your tool belt. So they have to basically be raised with these tools in their tool belt that they use to sustain their life. Like our oldest wants to be an actress. And I told her, I said,
for real?
look at the
That's cool.
salaries of actors, right? Look at working actors' base salaries, not the people you see on TV,
Denzel Washington.
but a working actor.
yeah.
It's like $30,000 a year. So I was
Mhm.
like, so most actors in LA, whatever, they might be waitresses
Mhm.
and bartenders and baristas and whatever. I said, but if you had rentals, you don't have to go do that. And now you have the choice to whatever acting, whatever you want to go do, you don't even have to make the money from it. You can build your career how you want to because you have the freedom of this financial
But
backing.
here's the blessing in that too, because she'll have parents that are savvy enough to be like, okay, we're going to buy you a house.
Mhm.
And now you an actress and you a waitress, making money, but you don't have to worry about your housing expenses because now you can lease your rooms out to roommates
Yeah.
and make
Mhm.
money in that regard. Not everybody has that opportunity, right? Most people go to LA and they like, I'm trying to make it. And they literally living with 12 people trying to make it. You can have an asset and rent a room out. So it's just, you have greater opportunity because of the path that your parents laid through real estate.
And I want to touch on one thing. You were talking about you stayed at home with your parents until you got married. Well, that was a blessing and an opportunity.
Mhm.
But if your parents put you in a duplex before you got married and your bills were being paid by your tenants and they taught you how to manage property,
Mhm.
isn't that equally as valuable?
I would have got a head start.
Exactly.
Because I would have wanted to keep on duplicating
Yeah.
it.
So there
Yeah.
we go. So if
Mhm.
we can give our children the opportunity to, while we're still supporting them, right? But they
Mhm.
don't have to be in our household,
Yeah.
right? We got multiple properties. Like you can be in whatever one of these households you want to be in. It doesn't have to necessarily be under our roof, but teach you how to fish versus you just, getting some fish on your plate. Like, no, you got to do some work. Look, they going to cut some grass. They got to manage this ranch. They got to do, I'm excited for our son to grow up because he got to get in the dually. He got to take
Mhm.
stuff to and from the ranch. He got to manage property. You got to run, construction sites. Even our oldest, I told her, I said, you can buy whatever car comes from your investment. Now, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to finance your investment, right? So you don't have to go get a hard money loan at 16 or whatever, but you have to identify a property. You have to flip or turn that property into a rental
It
and
got to be in
refinance
Houston.
it.
It could be
Not,
anywhere.
I mean, ideally it's in Houston so you can put your hands on it because there's a
Mhm.
tactile part of that.
But also we could be your lender.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And we'll be your lender.
Mhm.
And then whatever proceeds you make from that's how you buy your car. And you got to do that at 16.
Mhm.
But that skill set, it'll multiply throughout the rest of her life.
So what she say when you told her that?
Okay. I mean, because we started when she was like 6. So
Well,
Oh,
and
for real?
it
Okay.
makes it attainable, right? Because you're like, yeah, my parents do this all the time. Like my parents do this every day.
yeah.
It doesn't seem like some
big
huge
deal.
feat. Yeah,
Yeah.
So for your kids, for your son, it won't
Mhm.
seem like a huge feat because like, yeah, my daddy did it every day. My
Mhm.
kids be like, what did Austin say one time? Can we buy that and build such and such and such? I'm
Mhm.
like,
And the
yeah.
oldest be like, oh, we could buy an old
We
house and just
can.
fix it up or
Yeah.
whatever. And then the son, every time. So I bought him a bunch of construction books, right? There's
Mhm.
I'm a builder by trade.
Yeah.
So for me, I love the construction aspect of it. So I see that gift in our son. So I bought him like Goodnight Construction Site and all these like children's books with heavy equipment and things like that. So now he passes a construction site on the freeway. He's like, that's like my book.
Like my
Mhm.
bud.
They're building this. That's an excavator. That's a skid steer.
Yeah.
And he knows I'm a builder. I had him saying it the other day. I had him go tell his mom, I was like, say, I'm a builder. And he's like, I'm a builder because perception is reality. So if you perceive yourself as something, you can become it, right? So the easiest way for me to ingrain in him to become something is to feed him that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And as he grows, he'll go, but I am a builder and I can, and look at, whatever. So that's the benefit of the exposure of all the things that you're doing now. It does feed into your children.
Yeah, like he's gonna definitely be working with me, like when I demo and everything. Like
Yeah,
all the
because you
little,
do a lot of work yourself. That's the argument me and you always
Yeah.
had. I'd be like, you're doing too much stuff yourself.
Oh, please. I had to show you that.
I know. shared that information to him.
Did.
He painting houses and laying tile.
Nah, I'm not laying tile. I'm painting houses.
I swear I saw you buying some tile stuff at Home Depot.
He
Yeah,
might have been buying
I
it.
buy it and then
Give
it just saves me money because
Okay.
they want to upcharge you when you
Yeah.
buy it.
Yeah,
So,
that makes sense.
Yeah, so I
So-
buy it and I drop it off for them.
What is the future for the Lloyds?
The future is like right now we're looking for land. I want to like start doing duplexes and fourplexes and
Mhm.
hopefully like I said on the last podcast, we'll have a building that says like Lloyd's or whatever, like
There we
Trump
go.
Towers or
Love.
whatever.
Yep.
And then like my son will, you know, he's not gonna have any limitations in his head that anything's possible.
And then for married couples that are out there, you know, people watching this podcast, we married, you married. What advice would you give to married couples that are trying to do what it is that we're doing?
Mainly for men, I'll just be like, if she's the one, like stop wasting time.
Period.
There we go.
Because
We're gonna clap
you
up.
know, like even if you think you're focused right now until you're married, it's like another focus.
Mhm.
Clip that. That's clip.
Yeah, it's like a tunnel vision. It's like a superpower almost.
Yeah, it is. Having a wife is like a superpower.
It's a cheat code.
It is a cheat code.
It's a,
cheat
but that's a
code.
biblical cheat code.
Correct.
You know what I mean? My father said it all the time. He's like, you know, one person, there's another version of this, but he said one person can move, you know, only so much, but two people can move mountains.
Correct.
Right. And then to give the updated version of that, it's like two
God.
people can move a couch real easy. Right.
Yeah.
So it's easier when you have somebody to bounce ideas off, to mastermind with, to work with.
Fellas,
Um,
stop wasting time.
Yeah.
Like y'all missing out on the millions.
Stop holding yourself back and
You're
stop
missing out
wasting these
on the
ladies' time.
growth. Yeah, and quit wasting these girls' time. Dang.
Facts.
Especially if she a good girl. Oh, okay. Soapbox. Anyway, I am so appreciative that you took the time.
How long y'all been married?
6 years. So
6
7
years.
years in
Oh,
March.
6 years?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
I thought it seemed like y'all like in the tens and
That's because
So
homeboy knew.
look, so I'll say this, and I've told our story before. Within 6 months,
okay.
she changed my entire life. Now, this is my second marriage. So my first marriage was horrible, but it wasn't the institution of marriage. I still got a lot of the benefits of it.
Correct.
It was the person I was married with. If you're married to the right person,
Yeah.
everything turn up.
That matters.
And it becomes a different level of animal. Like Kobe Bryant say, you're a different level of animal while being the same beast.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like literally, it changed my life
Mhm.
being married to her.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I've never talked to another human soul as much as I've talked to this lady right here. We spend the better part of every day together, probably 18 hours every day. We just passed our 8-year mark together, and it seems like forever. And I can't wait for tomorrow every day. Right.
That's nice.
So it's fire. It's absolutely fire. And she's fine. And I like that.
Thanks. You are too.
Mm.
No,
But no.
but we completely appreciate, like sincerely appreciate you sharing
We
your
got to get the
story.
wife on.
Definitely got to get
She'll
the
come
wife
next
on.
time for
Yay.
sure. She'll come next time.
I am totally an advocate of bringing people back, especially when we have such great dialogue and great chemistry. So you
Thank
have to
you.
promise to come back.
Nah, I will, no
Have you had your
problem.
wife on your podcast?
Nah, she don't really want to be on camera at all.
Oh, I
Oh,
got
damn.
that. Then she probably won't be on ours, but that's
where,
okay.
Tell her where
No,
sunglasses.
she'll come on y'all. She'll come on y'all.
Tell her to wear the Kanye mask.
Got your
She's like
mess
she's like an introvert at heart.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Well, if she will grace us with her presence, we would love it. But honestly, thank you.
I thank y'all for having me.
Bottom of
Seriously.
my heart.
No, bet. So
So next Wednesday.
next Wednesday, we will be on the Real Estate Guru PK podcast. Check us out. And this has been the Marriage and Real Estate Podcast. This is Kevin Aisha, Mr. Mario Lloyd.
Thank you.
We are out.